For decades, breakfast was called the most important meal of the day. But somewhere along the way, a new idea took hold. That skipping breakfast was not only harmless, but actually healthy. And for younger people trying to lose weight, sometimes it is. But if you're over 60, the truth is, skipping that morning meal can quietly speed up the very problems you're trying to avoid. Things like muscle loss, bone weakness, fatigue, and even memory decline. Here's the part no one talks about. Most studies showing the benefits of intermittent fasting aren't done on seniors. They're done on younger adults with faster metabolisms and far greater reserves of muscle. An older body is different. After 60, your ability to repair muscle, store energy, and keep your brain fueled is far more fragile. That I think of Mary, a 72-year-old retired teacher who told me she started skipping breakfast to give her digestion a break. Within a few months, she noticed her legs felt weaker climbing stairs. She brushed it off as normal aging, but when her doctor checked, she had already lost measurable muscle mass. And here's the kicker: she wasn't sick. She was just underfueling her body in the morning. What you eat or don't eat in those first hours after waking sends a signal to every system in your body. Skip the meal, and your body thinks, times are hard, we'd better slow things down. That means slower muscle repair, lower energy, and in some cases, a cloudier mind. Before you decide, breakfast is optional. Know this, for seniors, missing. It isn't just skipping a meal. It's skipping the fuel your body desperately needs to stay strong, sharp, and independent. One of the biggest reasons seniors skip breakfast is the belief that it will help them lose weight. On paper, it sounds logical. Eat fewer meals, consume fewer calories. But in reality, for most older adults, it doesn't work that way. When you skip breakfast, your blood sugar drops, your energy dips, and your body starts craving quick fuel. And quick fuel usually means sugar, processed carbs, and snack foods. By the time lunch rolls around, you're not calmly choosing a healthy salad. You're starving. And that hunger makes it incredibly easy to overeat without even realizing it. I remember speaking with Jim, a 68-year-old who wanted to shed a few pounds before his granddaughter's wedding. He proudly told me he cut out breakfast for 3 months. But when he stepped on the scale, he'd actually gained 4 pounds. Why? Because every afternoon, he was reaching for cookies, chips, or extra helpings at dinner. His body was simply making up for the missing fuel earlier in the day, and usually in the least healthy ways. Yet there's also something else at play. When you don't eat in the morning, your metabolism can slow down, especially if you're over 60. Less muscle mass means fewer calories burned at rest, and skipping breakfast can speed up that muscle loss. It's like turning down the dimmer switch on your body's calorie-burning power. While skipping breakfast might sound like a shortcut to weight loss, for seniors, it's often the opposite. You may end up eating more and storing more fat than if you had simply started your day with a balanced, protein-rich meal. Weight control isn't just about eating less. It's about eating smart, and timing matters more than most people realize. After age 60, muscle loss isn't just possible. It's inevitable unless you actively fight it. The medical term is sarcopenia, and it's one of the leading causes of weakness, falls, and loss of independence in seniors. Your muscles are in a constant state of breakdown and repair. Overnight, while you sleep, your body uses up much of its available protein to keep vital systems running. That means when you wake up, your muscles are already in a slight deficit. If you skip breakfast, especially protein, you delay the repair process for hours, giving your body more time to break muscle down instead of build it back up. I think of Robert, a 75-year-old avid gardener. He skipped breakfast for years, believing he didn't need it because he felt fine in the mornings. But one spring, he noticed he couldn't lift the same heavy bags of soil he'd carried easily the year before. A checkup revealed he had lost over 8 pounds of muscle in just 2 years, not fat, muscle. His doctor traced part of it to his morning eating habits. No fuel, no building blocks for muscle recovery. Protein in the morning acts like a green light for your muscles, signaling them to start repairing and growing. Without it, the body will often use muscle tissue as an energy source, something no one over 60 can afford to lose. If staying strong, steady, and mobile matters to you, skipping breakfast isn't harmless. It's like leaving your car in the driveway every day with an empty tank, then wondering why the engine doesn't run as well. Fuel your muscles early, and they'll keep carrying you through the years ahead. For many seniors, breakfast isn't eggs, toast, or oatmeal. It's coffee. Just coffee. Maybe black, maybe with cream and sugar, but still just coffee. And while that first sip might feel like it wakes you up, if it's the only thing you put in your body all morning, it can do more harm than good. Caffeine. On an empty stomach triggers a spike in cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. Over time, high cortisol can raise blood pressure, weaken your immune system, and make you feel jittery or anxious. It can also irritate the stomach lining, especially if you're prone to acid reflux or ulcers, which become more common with age. Then there's the energy crash. Coffee gives a quick burst, but without food to stabilize blood sugar, that burst fades fast, often leaving you shakier, hungrier, and more tired than before. For seniors, this roller coaster can be dangerous. A sudden dip in blood sugar can lead to dizziness, confusion, or even a fall. That I remember talking to Linda, a 70-year-old who swore she was a coffee-only breakfast kind of woman. She loved her 2 big mugs in the morning and nothing else. But she often felt lightheaded by mid-morning, and once, she even fainted while standing in line at the post office. Her doctor traced it back to low blood sugar made worse by caffeine on an empty stomach. The solution isn't to give up coffee. It's to pair it with something that actually nourishes your body. A small Greek yogurt, a slice of whole grain, toast with peanut butter, or even a handful of nuts can turn coffee from a stressor into part of a balanced morning. Coffee can be part of your day, but it can't be the only part. Your brain is a high-energy organ. Even at rest, it consumes about 20% of your body's energy, more than any other single organ. And while your muscles can store fuel for later, your brain can't. It runs almost entirely on a steady supply of glucose from your bloodstream. When you skip breakfast, that fuel tank stays near empty. For seniors, whose glucose regulation is often less efficient, that can lead to noticeable effects: slower reaction times, trouble focusing, mood swings, and those moments when you walk into a room and can't remember why you're there. I once met Harold, a 69-year-old retired engineer who prided himself on his sharp mind. He started skipping breakfast to follow a popular fasting trend. Within weeks, he noticed small lapses, misplacing his keys, forgetting phone numbers he'd known for years. At first, he brushed it off as aging, but when he began eating a balanced breakfast again, his clarity returned within days. The connection is simple. A morning meal replenishes the glucose your brain used overnight, stabilizes your blood sugar, and supports neurotransmitter production. This means better memory recall, steadier moods, and sharper thinking throughout the day. Research even suggests that older adults who consistently eat a healthy breakfast perform better on memory and attention tests compared to those who don't. It's not about loading up on sugar for a quick spike. It's about giving your brain the balanced fuel it needs to function at its best. If you want to keep your mind as sharp as your wit, don't let your brain start the day running on fumes. Feed it early, feed it well, and it will reward you with the focus, clarity, and confidence you need to live fully. When people think about protecting their bones and joints, they often imagine calcium supplements or the occasional glass of milk. But here's what most don't realize. Skipping breakfast can slowly rob your body of the nutrients it needs for bone strength. Not just for today, but for years to come. Bone density naturally declines with age, especially after 50, and the process accelerates in women after menopause. Breakfast is a critical opportunity to get calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and protein, all of which work together to keep bones strong and joints cushioned. If you skip that first meal, you lose one of the easiest chances to reach your daily requirements. That I think of Margaret, a 74-year-old who loved gardening but started having trouble kneeling due to aching joints. She thought it was just arthritis until her doctor revealed early-stage osteoporosis. Looking back, Margaret realized she rarely ate in the morning. No yogurt, no fortified cereal, no eggs, which meant she was missing out on years' worth of bone-building nutrition. That it's not just about bones, either. Joints rely on collagen, which comes from protein and vitamin C. Skipping breakfast delays that daily repair cycle. For seniors, this can mean stiffer mornings, more inflammation, and a higher risk of injuries from even small missteps. Simple breakfast additions like fortified almond milk, low-fat cheese, or a protein smoothie with leafy greens can make a world of difference. Protecting your bones and joints isn't just about avoiding fractures. It's about staying mobile, independent, and pain-free for as long as possible. Your morning plate can be either your ally or your silent enemy. For bone health, you want it on your side every single day. Skipping breakfast doesn't just leave you hungry. It can set off a dangerous chain reaction in your blood sugar, especially if you're over 60. Overnight, your body naturally lowers blood sugar as it uses energy to keep vital organs running. By morning, you're already at a lower baseline. If you don't refuel, that baseline keeps dropping. For younger adults, the body can recover quickly. But for seniors, the system that regulates blood sugar, insulin response, tends to be slower and less efficient. This means a longer, steeper drop that can trigger dizziness, weakness, blurred vision, or even confusion. In some cases, these symptoms are so severe they're mistaken for a stroke or heart attack that I remember speaking with Walter, a 71-year-old who skipped breakfast before a morning trip to the farmer's market. Halfway through his walk, he became so lightheaded he had to sit on the curb. A passerby called an ambulance, fearing a stroke. The hospital tests were clear. His blood sugar had simply bottomed out. And here's the twist. Once your body hits that low, it often overcompensates. By lunchtime, you're craving fast, sugary foods to bring levels back up. That spike leads to another crash later in the day, creating a roller coaster of energy and mood swings that can leave you feeling drained by dinner. That a balanced breakfast, with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, smooths out those peaks and valleys. Instead of yo-yoing between exhaustion and sugar highs, your body enjoys steady, predictable energy. For seniors, that stability isn't just about comfort, it's about safety. One small meal in the morning can mean the difference between a productive day and a dangerous fall point. One of the most common reasons seniors give for skipping breakfast is simple. I'm just not hungry in the morning. And while that might feel true, it's often a signal that your body's hunger cues have dulled, not that it doesn't need fuel. As we age, several things can suppress appetite in the morning. Reduced sense of smell and taste, certain medications, slower digestion, and even mild dehydration can all make food seem less appealing. But ignoring that first meal only reinforces the cycle. The less often you eat in the morning, the more your body adapts by shutting down hunger signals, and the less likely you are to get the nutrients you need for the day. I think of Evelyn, a 76-year-old widow who lived alone. She'd fallen into the habit of having only tea until lunchtime. She didn't feel hungry, so she assumed it was fine. But her daughter noticed Evelyn seemed more tired and forgetful. A nutritionist suggested adding something small in the morning: a banana, a boiled egg, or a small smoothie. Within 2 weeks, Evelyn's energy improved and her memory lapses became less frequent. The goal isn't to force a giant breakfast. It's to give your body a gentle nudge toward nourishment. Even a few bites of protein and complex carbs, like yogurt with berries or half a slice of whole grain toast with almond butter, can kickstart metabolism, wake up your brain, and restore natural hunger signals over time. Hunger is a survival signal, but it's one you can lose if you ignore it long enough. For seniors, the key isn't to wait for appetite to come. It's to create it. If skipping breakfast can be harmful, then how you break the fast matters just as much as the fact that you eat. A donut and coffee technically count as breakfast, but they won't give your body the steady fuel it needs. The goal is simple. Combine protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates to set the tone for the entire day. Protein repairs muscles and keeps you full. Healthy fats protect your brain and joints. Complex carbs provide a slow, steady release of energy. This balanced trio prevents blood sugar spikes, protects muscle mass, and keeps you mentally sharp well into the afternoon. I once worked with a couple, Sam and Lila, both in their 70s. They started replacing their usual toast and jam breakfast with scrambled eggs, sautéed spinach, and a slice of whole grain bread. Within a month, Sam noticed he had more stamina on his morning walks, and Lila said her mid-morning brain fog disappeared completely. The good news? You don't need to overcomplicate it. A Greek yogurt parfait with berries and nuts, a veggie omelet with avocado, or oatmeal topped with seeds and a dollop of nut butter are all quick, senior-friendly options. The idea isn't to stuff yourself. It's to give your body the right building blocks so that every system, from your muscles to your memory, can function at its best. Think of breakfast as setting the operating system for your day. If you start with strong, stable fuel, you'll have fewer crashes, better focus, and more energy for the things you actually enjoy. The wrong breakfast can leave you sluggish. The right one can change the way your entire day feels. That we've covered a lot. So let's bring it all together. Skipping breakfast might sound harmless, even trendy, but for seniors, it can quietly chip away at strength, energy, and long-term health. We've looked at the 5 big mistakes: thinking it guarantees weight loss, ignoring muscle loss, relying only on coffee, forgetting the brain's need for fuel, and overlooking bone and joint health. And we've talked about the blood sugar trap, the hidden "I'm not hungry" problem, and the right way to break your fast. Now, here's your simple action plan. Step 1. Eat within 1 hour of waking. Even if it's small. Step 2. Aim for at least 20 grams of protein. This could be eggs, Greek yogurt, protein smoothie, or nut butter on whole grain toast. Step 3. Include a healthy fat, avocado, nuts, olive oil, and a complex carbohydrate like oats, berries, or whole grain bread. Step 4. Avoid starting the day with sugar-heavy pastries or processed cereals. If you've been skipping breakfast for years, change doesn't have to happen overnight. Start small. Add a piece of fruit, a boiled egg, or a handful of nuts alongside your coffee. Let your body remember what it feels like to run on steady fuel. I'll leave you with this. Your mornings are not just the start of your day. They're the foundation for your independence, vitality, and clarity. Every choice you make in those first hours sends a signal to your body about how the rest of the day will go. So send the right signal. Feed yourself well. Your best years are not behind you. They're ahead. And tomorrow morning, you have the chance to prove it.